Hi, I'm Nitya.
I'm Ayesha.
And I'm Annie.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Sonica.
We are currently Georgia Tech students enrolled in an English class that focuses on the theme of nature's rhetoric, in which we analyze nature and its relationship to humans and man-made creations.
To apply what we learned in class about nature, we were assigned to make a video essay relating a local organization here to our course's key concept. We decided to volunteer with the West Atlanta Watershed Alliance and look at the problems that circulate in and around the creeks of Atlanta. The West Atlanta Watershed Alliance is a nonprofit organization based in Atlanta whose mission is to improve the quality of life within the West Atlanta watershed by protecting, preserving, and restoring our community's natural resources.
Our video essay will prove that WAWA defines restoration through its actions. These actions include community education, citizen science, and even getting volunteers from the local community to help clean the streams. We as Georgia Tech students participated in a WAWA event at a section of Proctor Creek. During the workshop we attended before visiting the creek, we heard about the immense pollution of Proctor Creek that was being ignored by many citizens. Through on-site experience, we were able to see firsthand the dilapidated nature of the stream. We saw exactly the actions that WAWA is taking to help restore our Atlanta natural resources to its past beauty.
So what exactly is a watershed? A watershed is land that water flows across or under on its way to a stream, river, or lake. Watersheds exist everywhere, so you are in one at this very moment. Whether you are in a Rocky Mountain range or in a metropolitan city, you are part of a watershed. WAWA in particular represents Northwest and Southwest Atlanta, bordering Georgia Tech's west side of campus and harboring neighborhoods of residents and creeks. We were able to visit Proctor Creek to gain a better understanding of the creek's condition. In this video, we will focus on one of the main causes that led Proctor Creek to become polluted and damage in water quality: environmental ignorance. An item often discarded due to environmental ignorance is sanitary or baby wipes. We will analyze why these wet wipes, a seemingly harmless item, can cause such environmentally harmful impacts to the West Atlanta community.
Why are these wipes flushed down the toilet? You may be asking, isn't it easier to just throw them in the trash? Despite indicating to not flush, baby wipes are commonly flushed down toilets, often to find a quick and easy solution of disposing of smelly items instead of causing a buildup in the trash can. Additionally, diaper genies are quite expensive and not as easily accessible to most individuals. As a result, flushing the wipes becomes very, very common. Because they don't break down, wipes cause buildup in pipes that are close to bodies of water, such as Proctor Creek. These pipes eventually clog excessively and burst, releasing all of the sewage and bacteria-filled water into the nearby water. Those wipes, as well as all other pollutants, take a long time to degrade while in the watersheds and become a hindrance to the environment surrounding them. Things like this are hard to see unless you visit creeks and watersheds frequently, which is unrealistic for most of us. We, too, were ignorant of the states of these creeks before we volunteered with the WAWA ourselves, when we were able to see this pollution and the quality of the creek firsthand.
In this footage of our visit, you can see large mounds of trash and litter piled in various corners of the creek, as well as some small debris flowing from the current downstream. Further down, a baby wipe clings to the branch just above the rush of water. It's a saddening sight, especially realizing that this is the work of humankind. However, entering the water and waders alongside WAWA stream testers was a great way to experience what they do each time they choose a creek to conquer and make clean again. The work requires patience and determination and makes you realize how much of a hidden impact we humans are having on aspects of nature that we can't necessarily see. Only the residents around such areas will notice and be greatly affected.
In order to gauge an idea of exactly how many people know about the rules of disposing baby wipes, we decided to interview a few Georgia Tech students.
My question for you guys is, can you flush baby wipes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Can you flush baby wipes down the toilet?
Yes?
Okay, my question is, can you flush baby wipes down the toilet?
Yes.
My question for you guys is, can you flush baby wipes down the toilet? Baby wipes?
It's a common misconception. It actually clogs the pipes.
Well, anything that's not toilet paper clogs the pipes. That's why you can't put sanitary pads.
Okay, good job.
Unsurprisingly, many students thought disposing their wipes in the toilet was acceptable. Once we told them about the dangers associated with their acts, it opened their eyes to what was originally no big deal and made them realize the ramifications of their actions. In the future, we hope to see a decline in the number of wipes found in clogged sewer pipes, and the only way we can achieve this is if we educate people on such seemingly trivial matters. This method of spreading the word is something that makes Wawa so powerful. Volunteers like us have such a memorable experience with the organization, entering the water, searching for signs of life, and E. coli testing, that they are inclined to share what they learned and encourage others to be mindful of such issues as well. We went about this in a different way, by using our experience and letting others know what we learned.
Proctor Creek is located in a highly urbanized area in Atlanta, so the overwhelming number of pollutants that have seeped into the creek is creating a negative impact to many of the city's citizens. The Proctor Creek watershed lies inside African American neighborhoods in northwest and southwest Atlanta that are most inundated with environmental stressors, but are least represented at environmental decision-making tables. Activists work to heal the harm done to the creek refer to this effect as environmental injustice. In the session that we participated in on our first site visit, we heard from residents near Proctor Creek who grew up around the creek and volunteers of Wawa about the effects of the excessive trash and buildup in the creeks. The residents shared the fact that they grew up around creeks that were clear and free of trash, only to find that their children had litter-ridden creeks to play in. They spoke of questioning how things like wipes could end up in the creek or how pipe bursts became so common. The fact is that west side neighborhoods of Atlanta often experience sewage overflows that collect in the streets. The houses that reside in this watershed are often faced with flooding issues, and citizens are vulnerable to health risks such as diseases caused by E. coli and fecal coliform carried by sewage waste.
The volunteers of Wawa make it their mission to change the normality associated with this pollution by spreading the word day by day. Like us, others are drawn into Wawa's mission and the level in which Wawa lets volunteers get involved. To make the most of each experience and help volunteers understand the weight of the situation, Wawa allows volunteers to step into the creeks and help remove trash and test water quality. The problem doesn't just lie in the neighborhoods and watersheds. The effects of Proctor Creek's contaminated water spreads beyond its own watersheds and neighborhoods. You may want to check out how clean your tap water is. Because connected to the Chattahoochee River, Proctor Creek carries all of its sewage and trash products into the waters of the Chattahoochee River, which makes up approximately 70% of the drinking water supplied to Metro Atlanta. In an effort to restore the creeks of Atlanta, Wawa connects the clogging issues of baby wipes to the children who live near these creeks, polluted with sewage, waste, and toxins. Numerous times throughout their presentation on the states of the creeks around Atlanta, Wawa representatives mention the children who are affected by polluted creeks. Wawa does not only express concern for this issue, they use it as a drive to continue to clear polluted creeks so there's a better environment for children who will grow up around them. Nataki emphasized multiple times that the actions we take now as a generation in regards to nature and even our respect for nature will have an effect on the generations to come. Will our children or their children have the same nature to look at? Will humanity let nature be, or will civilization capture every corner of the earth?
This thinking is reminiscent of the environmental activist Bill McKibben's concern for the destruction of nature in his book The End of Nature. He describes his walk up Mill Creek, for example, and how it has changed as profoundly as when it shifted from pristine and untracked wilderness to mapped, indeeded, and cultivated land. This is equivalent to the drastic change that occurred with Proctor Creek. Its transformation was noticeable and life-changing for the residents around it. The West Atlanta watershed embodies the perspective of Bill McKibben as he witnesses nature being eroded from around him. While McKibben uses advocacy to spread the word on restoration of nature, Wawa uses activism. McKibben suggests restoration through the negotiations with nature and the idea of coexisting with nature. Wawa suggests restoration through the idea of actively working to improve the quality of the creeks and make the creeks more welcome habitats for the various species that live within. From our visit to the creek, we certainly noticed a significant decline in aquatic life, which means the water quality is at a very bad level.
One of the main focuses of Wawa is to implement citizen science into all of their work. In fact, much of their work is built on the foundation of citizen science. Citizen science is scientific research performed by non-professional scientists. For instance, those who are not professionally scientists in a given field. In more simpler terms, it is the participation of the general public in activities like monitoring and action research for a specific cause. So, the participation of the community in working towards Wawa's mission is citizen science. Another term you should know is stream monitoring, the process of collecting data on stream quality and the aquatic life that it contains. This data is then used to determine the overall health of the stream. Both citizen science and stream monitoring are building blocks of the mission of the West Atlanta Watershed Alliance.
WAWA is a nonprofit organization made up of devoted volunteers who persistently work towards their goal of clearing creeks for the better of the community and educating others on the dangers of a polluted watershed. And what causes that pollution is very important for highlighting the roots of the problems in our creeks. You'd be surprised to find that many people do not realize what causes the pollution in our creeks, or that the water quality in creeks near their areas of residence are at places thousands of times above the FDA-allowed foulness of water. Sometimes being a little bit more careful and reading the fine print on product disposal information can have a big impact. Being an educated, informed, and aware citizen is crucial in making sure that you are not harming your surroundings, and that can go a long way. Once you know the rules, you can educate others and lead them to a better future where harmful foreign substances in natural waters is not an issue. We were lucky enough to work with WAWA and become certified advocates for the water quality and testing. The West Atlanta Watershed Alliance does a great job of spreading the word, not only through their own members, but also by allowing new volunteers to step into the shoes of professional water testers and become professionals on the subject after a single volunteering session. This method of inclusiveness of volunteers has an exponential rate in terms of spreading awareness. If one volunteer learns something, even just one thing about watersheds around Atlanta and spreads the word, speaking from experience, others are more likely to listen. We are an example of this chain effect that goes to show how successful WAWA is in getting their message across to populations everywhere.
Getting the word out is a great way to contribute, but there are certainly other ways to help. Organizations such as the West Atlanta Watershed Alliance are actively working to improve the environment and can always use a hand in their services. You can volunteer your money and donate to these organizations, or even better, you can volunteer your time. As volunteers of WAWA, we have seen firsthand what they do to help the Proctor Creek watershed in Atlanta. These tactics, ranging from scientific water testing to actively entering the water in waders in order to search for signs of life, can be taught to anyone, making it very easy to get involved in the cause. Nature and humanity are not mutually exclusive. They exist side by side and are intertwined within each other, meaning that every action we take affects nature in one way or the other. The damage we do, sometimes without realizing it and other times while being quite aware, may not have a direct effect, but the generations to come will undoubtedly pay for our actions. Stop flushing wipes and spread the word. We're responsible for the world the next generation will live in, so let's preserve and protect it. Visit wawa-online.org for more information on how you can help.